The Santo Expedito prison in Brazil is often called the real dungeons. There are some reports that 20 plus prisoners are shoved into one singular cell. Most of them are left to sleep on the floor, waiting to be left out maybe once a day, for 30 minutes a day if they're lucky. The rest of the days, they're left to sit on this sticky, rat-infested, cockroach upside down, sticking to the cement floors of the prison. It would take sometimes weeks for prisoners to even get a fresh hit of air to their nostrils. Fresh air. BBC investigators go to interview someone from that very prison. They're outside, waiting in the permitted area where they've set up all these cameras. And there she comes. She's coming out. Out walks this thin, tall, blonde woman. She used to be a model in New York. She was rumored to have been dating Leonardo DiCaprio at one point. Her ex-husband is a crypto millionaire. What the hell is she doing in this prison in Brazil? The reporters ask her, "What are you doing here?" And she scoffs. They're saying that she is a danger to society because she can change people's minds with her words. She can, turn their brains around. Well, can you? Can I? You tell me. Can I? I hope I can. She claims that she has been unjustly placed into this prison with real criminals. She does not belong here. This is an injustice. But when she gets up at the end of the interview, she looks at the two interviewers from the BBC and says, "Later you will find out whether I have power or not."
Vai descobrir se eu tenho poder ou não depois.
I'm sorry, what? Is that a threat? She smiles. "I don't like this one," and walks off.
Wait, what do you mean?
She tells one of the interviewers, "You're gonna find out if I have real powers or not." And they're like, "Did you just threaten us? Like, we have this on camera. Are you threatening us right now?" She says, "I don't like this one." And she points at one of the interviewers, the one that was asking the harder questions. And she walks off. Did she seriously just threaten BBC reporters? Why is this woman being called the female Andrew Tate? And how did she get away with human trafficking and slavery charges for so long, earning millions of dollars every single month? And is it really true that she can talk to aliens? This is the case of Cat Torres, Brazilian model and influencer turned human trafficker. We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Know Me Network. This international nonprofit provides life-changing opportunities, connections to safer employment, and resources for survivors. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Today's case has mentions of SA trafficking. The perpetrator of today's case also has various mental health diagnoses, but to be very clear, in an effort to destigmatize such diagnoses does not make someone inherently violent, nor is today's case a reliable representation of mental health or hallucinogens. We're gonna get there. We had two books translated for the source material for this case. One was written by the perpetrator before she committed the crimes, and one was written by one of the victims. The victim was brave enough to share very in-depth details on the trauma that she endured while essentially being held hostage, and specific details of what she had to go through whilst being trafficked. All the very specific quotes, situations are attributed to the original source material, the victim's own book called Searching Desiree. I highly recommend you read it if possible. She does an incredible job at highlighting the process of how she was groomed by this famous influencer and ultimately victimized.
Is the book in English or?
It's in Portuguese.
Oh.
But it is remarkably insightful. So with that being said, let's get started. There is one sentiment in the world of high-end date arrangements. The higher the cost of the appointment, the stranger the request. One of Chanel's clients was willing to pay $3,000 for the hour. He worked for this major airline company. He takes her to the airport and opens the door to one of the airline's administration offices inside the airport. And she's terrified, but she does as she's told. He's got this big duffel bag with him. What the hell is in that? She scrunches her eyebrows and he unzips it, pulls out a flight attendant uniform. "Can you wear this?" She says, long story short, she fulfilled all of his sick fantasies that night. It was alarming. But not as alarming as, weird as the party that she was invited to. I mean, on paper, the deal made sense. $24,000 for the night. There's going to be 11 clients and Chanel would be hired along with another woman. Chanel goes thinking it's a bachelor party or a birthday celebration, retirement, I don't know, who knows? She shows up, it's a family. 4 uncles, 3 cousins, 2 brother-in-laws, and 2 brothers. The 2 women, they danced for the 11 family members, men. Eventually, they're taken into separate bedrooms upstairs, and the 11 family members were just going from one room to another, skippity-hoppiting between the 2 women. They're getting paid for the job, they consented, but it was definitely alarming nonetheless. Not a great night. But Chanel was taught very early on, just go into a trance, disassociate from what is happening, and power through. It's not great advice, but it's working, at least temporarily. But one of the more lucrative parties that you can be invited to and be paid, hired to be a part of are bachelor parties, which is very depressing. Men are typically younger and they're all acting like there's some sort of dooming apocalypse happening, like it's going to be the last night of their lives. But it does bring in the money, to the point where the dancers at the gentlemen's club, they would often break out into literal fights to be requested by the bachelor parties that are coming in. This particular one was not at the club. Chanel was hired on this big yacht to have fun with this new bachelor and all of his friends. And she says that she was mainly focused on the groom. He had asked her to be exclusive for the night, which means that, how much does she charge? Chanel's looking around. She's like, well, I got some targets I have to hit this month. She does some calculations and says, you know what? I'm going to ask for 5 times the normal rate of what I normally charge, which is already $10,000 an hour. So let's just see what happens. Without hesitation, he instantly transfers the money and the 2 of them go into the master suite of the yacht. And after spending hours together, he decides to go back to his friends at the party upstairs on the deck of the yacht while Chanel showers. And as she's freshening up, ready to go back to work upstairs, she checks her phone and there's a bunch of missed calls.
Wait, how much did he transfer her?
Like 50.
Oh.
Before she can call the missed caller back, she gets another ring from the same number. Hello? You've been exposed. You're all over the media. What? Chanel said that she could feel the blood drain completely from her face. She's feeling nauseous, dizzy. She feels like she needs to sit down. What do you mean? Don't worry. I have a plan. Everything is under control. How do you have everything under control if it's already out to the media? I need you to listen to me. Leave the bachelor party immediately. Do you hear me, Desiree? Desiree, she says, hearing her real name snapped something in her. It brought her back to reality. She was no longer Chanel, the one that gets hired for bachelor parties. She's back to being Desiree, and she feels like she's about to be sick. Her phone starts ringing nonstop. Unknown caller, probably mainstream media news outlets, the media, family, friends, I don't know. She's been exposed. And then a text message from the same person that she was just on the phone with. Destroy your SIM card and buy a new one. Leave the party immediately. That text message is from Cat Torres, a Brazilian Instagrammer with over 1 million followers. Why was a random influencer calling Desiree and telling her what to do? And why is Desiree listening to every single command that this influencer gives? When Cat sits down to write her book, she knows it's not going to be easy. She's like, this is going to be very rough. My whole life story in 200-300 pages? How do I even summarize my life? But she did not know that there's these forces working against her. She said she was writing one of the most important parts of her book about the time that she had a paranormal experience. She was editing, rewording, writing all night long. And when she woke up, 40 pages of her manuscript were just missing, gone. Kat has never had this happen before. It's not like she fell asleep on her computer. It's not like she had a broken down old laptop. It is clear to Kat that whatever is happening is a supernatural higher power that does not want her to share her story. She even shares this in the book. She says this is something that she's used to because she's always been like this. Ever since she was little, she knew she was different. She heard voices. Well, it was mainly like one. She calls it The Voice, which is also the title of her book, The Voice. Not the singing show, but just The Voice. She would have deep conversations with The Voice ever since she was young. At first, she thought it was the cat talking to her. She's like, are you talking to me? My cat is talking to me? Do you know how rich I would be if I could prove that my cat can talk to me? But it wasn't the cat. It's like she's meant to be this medium. The spirits are talking to her, and they've always been talking to her. Even the last words of her book read, book written by Cat Torres and the voice, Praise Be. During a talk show, Cat tells the host about her book and everything that she's been through. I can read minds. And honestly, everyone could read minds if they truly wanted to. I can look at the audience right now and I can see what everyone is thinking. The host turns to her. Then what am I thinking right now? I don't know. I would really need to concentrate. I would need to tune into your vibrations first to be able to read your thoughts. By the way, I can talk to aliens. And what do the aliens tell you? Oh, it's nothing from this world. Since I was 8 years old, God gave me this energy and this voice. Cat Torres is absolutely unhinged. I'm just gonna start with that. But she was also never meant to be rich. That's what people told her. They said, you're never gonna be rich. She grew up very, very impoverished in Brazil. Her dad was an alcoholic who would say things like, women are born to clean and cook, and they should be grateful that the world is even putting up with them. Her mom was never present. She was more focused on her marital troubles. Kat had this older sister who really never cared to suffer together. Sometimes everybody in the house would leave for days. There's nothing in the fridge. There's no food, no money. Kat has to fend for herself, and her sister would come back days later with snacks. Kat is not allowed to eat any of them because they're her sister's snacks that her sister bought with her own money, and she refuses to give Kat even a singular bite as she's just starving. In this house, it's every man for themselves. Kat turns this into sheer willpower and confidence. She learns to think, I pity whoever is going to get in my way. She said she was a very angry kid growing up. She just kept thinking, people are like puppets, you know? Stupid. You just need to know how to give the right commands and manipulate them the right way. That's it. Once you do that, you can do anything, which she does. By the time that Kat is of age, she moves to Miami, signs with Elite Model Management, which has signed really big models such as Kendall Jenner. Kat does end up booking some modeling jobs. Her biggest ones were L'Oreal, Calvin Klein, Vogue Brazil, American Express, but they're the really small projects. Her face was not even on every single Calvin Klein poster in the mall nationally or even regionally, just regular small work here and there. The bulk of her modeling involves either lingerie or swimwear, and Kat hates modeling. She lived in Miami, moves to New York. It's just depressing. She says the city is depressing. There are no real friends in the city. Everybody is cutthroat, everyone for themselves. It reminds her of her childhood, and she hates it. Kat says that there were predatory men in the industry who would threaten to ruin her whole life if she did not act or perform in the way that they wanted, which I don't doubt. But after modeling, Kat decides maybe acting is a lot more lucrative, and maybe I'm more clothed when I'm an actress. She does briefly attend the Susan Batson studio to try her hand at acting. It's a very interesting place. It's an acting coaching studio. It's said that Nicole Kidman, Tom Cruise, Oprah Winfrey, they've all been trained there. There's a lot of famous actors that study and adopt for their roles. Her method revolves around 3 core elements. If you're going to play the role of a character for a movie, TV show, a play, doesn't matter. You need 3 core elements for this character. You need to have a need. What does your character need in life? A public persona. What does your character want to be perceived as by other characters? And then a singular, at least one tragic flaw of your character. What is your character's deepest needs and desires? What is their public persona that they want to be perceived as by others? And what is their tragic flaw? It's believed that the interplay and the conflict between the 3 different elements is what makes a great character feel well developed.
That's so deep.
Yeah, I found this comment on Reddit, so please take this with some salt. But they say, I took a class with a couple that studied there at the studio. Apparently, one of the classes takes place with everybody just completely naked. One of the guys was actually an incredible actor, though. The other one was like a pretty model type who is pretty bad at acting.
You know what's so interesting? Like, whatever you just said, those 3 pointers, I feel like we can even think about ourselves.
Oh, yeah. What is my one tragic flaw?
And that will also kind of explain how we interact with the world, doesn't it?
That's true.
Because you're acting that character, but
it's still a real fleshed out human being.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, now I'm just having like a therapy session in my mind. So with no respect at all, I think that Cat Torres falls into the latter category. pretty model type who's pretty bad at acting. But don't let me be the judge. Cat Torres does not book many acting roles. She's not known for being an Oscar-winning actress. She's known for being a human trafficker. I'll get there. Her greatest work was, you know the movie Fast and the Furious? She was an extra in one of the music videos to one of the soundtrack songs for the show. Not even like the main ones. Just like a
so she's not in the movie?
No. She's just an extra in a music video that was on the soundtrack album for the movie. Yeah, it's complicated. The song is a really good song. It's not one of the more recognizable ones. It's called Angel by Prince Royce. It's good, but she's just kind of in the background. She does, however, do interviews where she talks about how she wants to win an Oscar one day. And she spoke about this future project that she had coming up. She was working with one of her close Brazilian filmmaker friends about a Russian girl who was kidnapped. She's going to be playing the Russian girl. She says she kind of looks Russian, right? She says the movie is supposed to raise awareness to the global problem of human trafficking, which is a level of irony that my brain was having a very hard time computing. She mentions this in the interview, and her Brazilian filmmaker friend, his phone is blowing up. Everybody's congratulating him. Oh my God, you got the green light on the film. Congratulations. Why didn't you tell us? He's so confused what's happening. He reaches out to Cat because yes, this was a very real idea that he had, but nothing was set in stone. Nothing was concrete. He didn't even cast Cat, nor is he doing the project. That's like if you told a random friend that you wanted to open up a farm one day. That'd be kind of nice. 2 years later, you click on their Instagram live and they're talking about how they're going to be the CEO to your chicken coop. And you're like, what is happening? What are you talking about? He tries to text Kat. She refuses to respond. Nothing ever comes of that. But this is all in the past, okay? This is pre-marriage Kat. She is a new woman now because she is married to American Colborne Bell, which is honestly the most American name.
American what?
Colborne Bell, that's his name, and it's like the most American name I've ever heard in my life. She gets married, and the two had met in the Hollywood Hills at a Nepo baby's home. That's how he's described. He's apparently the son of one of the biggest musicians in Hollywood. He's much, much older. He's won 20 Grammys, this artist, and this is his son, who I don't know if he has any accolades of his own, but it's at his house that Cat Torres meets Colborne. She's hosting an ayahuasca session. Ayahuasca is a tea containing a plant mixture. It contains a natural hallucinogen that's known as DMT. So you take it, and it's reported to taste pretty nasty. It's got a thick molasses-like texture. One person describes it like drinking motor oil diluted with a splash of water. It's disgusting, but it's not about the taste. It is about spiritual enlightenment. A lot of people will take ayahuasca to reach their inner selves, to hallucinate and purge their darkest thoughts. It's actually been used for thousands of years. In South American countries, mostly for religious and spiritual context, it's considered a medicine. But of course, because a bunch of Americans are taking it, a bunch of other Americans have gone down into South America to open up resorts, inviting people from America to come join this curated ceremony or journey where you come and get therapy in the form of a hallucinogen. And it's recommended that you don't go to an American-run resort. If you really want to try ayahuasca, you want to go to the people who have been practicing it for thousands of years because, yeah, there's been a lot of situations with the American-run resorts of accusations, allegations of really unsafe, dangerous practices. But one person who says that they've taken it said, ayahuasca dissolved the wall between myself and the world. I was staring into what I could only describe as the world's most honest mirror. It's like a horror show, but it was impossible to look away. I saw what I needed to see. When I was ready to see it, ayahuasca exposes the gap between who you think you are and who you actually are. The pain of seeing that gap for the first time was practically unbearable. Some studies have shown that it activates repressed memories that allow people to come into a new understanding of their past. It helps others work through memories of traumatic events, which, some people think it could be a drug that could help with depression and PTSD. But like any hallucinogen, I would be very wary. I think I'm self-aware enough to know that my brain is super easy to break. I don't think that I would ever be participating. One person who really loved the experience says, I saw 40 to 50 snakes coming out of someone's mouth and going into my mouth. I'm just saying, that would break my brain. And then the purge hits. You vomit, diarrhea, cry, laugh for 12 hours straight. They say that you're crying and vomiting out all the negativity in your life, the stress, anxiety, fears, regret, self-loathing. It's physically coming out of your body. You're purging it. He also states that he saw himself floating in his mother's womb, just suspended in flesh and fluids. And this was his way of seeing how his own mother's pain and confusion of raising a child for the first time must have been so difficult. He writes, then the scene shifts and I'm floating in what I assume is kind of a primordial soup. I think I'm a vibrating particle now, and string theory suddenly makes sense in a way that I could never explain. People say that a single ayahuasca trip is like a decade of therapy packed into one singular night, and that's probably an overstatement, but it's not wrong. For nights, I feel like I got a lifetime worth of anger and bitterness out of me. He continues, ayahuasca is the best and worst thing I've ever done. I spent a week staring down all my bullshit and all my insecurities, and it was totally liberating. But it was also terrifying, not something I want or need to see ever again. A question worth asking yourself is, if you looked into the world's most honest mirror, what would you see? And do you even really want to see it? Cat and the group are seemingly not doing it for religious purposes in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills. They're just doing it for the vibes. Their sessions would typically take place Saturday night, go all the way up until Sunday midday or even Sunday night. They would sit there in the mansion in the Hollywood Hills singing songs, and that's where Colburn and Cat start their relationship. Colburn Bell, if you look him up, he's mainly known for being one of the early crypto traders in the US. They met at ayahuasca ceremony in the Hollywood Hills, and during this time, Cat is going through a life cleanse. She's not having intimate relations with anyone. She's on a sexual cleanse. She just wants to reset her life. But when Colburn comes into her life, she jumps at the chance and she asks him out to dinner. And Colburn says, at first I was really hesitant because I wasn't ready to settle down into a serious relationship. I had concerns that I couldn't be at the level of commitment that Cat needed. But he also felt really bad because Cat would tell him about how she was essayed as a kid. Her parents would leave her starving at home, fending for herself. She never knew when her next meal was going to be. Then modeling was rough, and she just tells Colburn that she wants to settle down. She wants stability in her life. Modeling was so traumatic. These modeling agencies, she says, are just all fronts for work, selling beautiful women to ultra wealthy clients, and she doesn't want this life anymore. And it's kind of tugging at him because, maybe he can settle down too. The two get married within 6 months of meeting. And when they initially get married, Colburn says, I was not wealthy when we initially got married. So this is before he acquires a lot of his crypto assets. But somehow, Cat is posting on social media every single day, all these expensive things, Gucci bags, Prada bags, Balenciaga bags. He had no idea where she was getting this money, because it's definitely not from him, at least not in the beginning. The whole marriage itself actually is very odd. One would assume that one of the main reasons he wanted to marry Cat was because he thought she wanted to settle down, because that's what she said. But after they get married, she's obsessed with social media. She is so good at manipulating reality. That is what Colburn says. Sometimes she would go to a 5-star hotel, walk in there, ask to see the presidential suite because she works for a very wealthy couple who wanted her to take some pictures of the suite just to make sure it's to their liking before they book it for a month. She goes up there, she's taken a bunch of pictures, then she posts it on Instagram as if she had paid $50,000 a night and just woke up in the suite to this beautiful view. Good morning. Waking up to this view of Central Park in the presidential suite of the Plaza Hotel is a memory that I will forever cherish. Along those lines. She would stay up all night reading through all of her comments. She would freak out over the smallest remarks people would leave. And Cat was even a very famous meme at one point. The meme is a picture of Cat staring into the abyss. Her hair is messy. She looks like she's about to start crying. She looks like she's had a rough day. Her eyes are empty. This meme was very big in Brazil. It would be like, when you want to go home, but your boss asks you if you have 15 minutes real quick. What's fascinating, and a lot of people don't know this, but Cat is the one behind those memes. She would sit there and make 15 memes of herself every single day. She would take a picture of herself and study all the current trending jokes, and she would add a funny caption, and she would spend the entire day creating 15 memes, and sure enough, they go viral.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
crazy.
So she's clever. She knows, she just got to get her face out there.
Yeah.
become famous.
Yeah. Colburn says Cat was always doing something. Between her meme making machine, tea ceremonies, acting classes, she would sleep maybe 2 to 4 hours every night. She barely slept. That mixed with the ayahuasca was probably not a great idea. It just, Cat says because she's a medium, it's a little bit different for her because she heard voices ever since she was a kid. She would take ayahuasca more frequently than most people. Some people take ayahuasca once in their life and they're like, I'm never going to do that again. It was a great experience, but I think it's a once in a lifetime. Like, you really don't need to do it again. Some people say, I do it maybe once every 2 years just to reset. Some people say, well, I've worked it into a few times a year. She would take it once every 2 weeks, whenever she felt like it. And she would enter into a 13-hour trance. She says, the things you see inside, I've already talked to Jesus Christ, and I didn't even believe in Jesus Christ. You can visit people, your loved ones that died, your followers, you can visit them. Which is, I mean, it's supposed to be a thing where you see, I don't know, you see that, you think, wow, that's nice. I saw Jesus Christ. Maybe I should self-reflect. Maybe I'm religious. But clearly, Cat thinks this is a sign. One netizen says, yeah, while you can attain profound insights and breakthroughs with ayahuasca, you can also fall into deep delusions. It can be a deeply blissful and visionary experience, which can be its own sort of trap if you start chasing it, which many people fall into. This is part of the classic game of sensations. And there are very clear side effects of taking ayahuasca too frequently. And of course, it affects different people differently. One netizen writes, my mind and perception were bouncing back between evil and good. I could see and feel complete magic and light to complete darkness. Eventually, all the light went away and I became separate from everything and everyone, and there was just a void, and my personality had changed into something else. I actually ran away from the ceremony, thinking that I was running away from life. The energy in my body felt like poison. Every sound hurt my ears, and even food tasted bad. I became the ugliest version of myself that I didn't even recognize. They leave the resort, the retreat. They come back to America. Months later, they write, it completely changed my brain chemistry. My mind was completely taken over. I could not identify with myself anymore. My mind felt like it was shattering over and over and over again. I would get this constant stream of negative thoughts piercing my head for months, changing my personality over time. I started losing memories, my values, my perceptions, my mind. Intense energy seized through my body and I could not sleep for weeks. My brain would hurt. My perception of time was completely I ended up in the psych ward from going manic and from constantly screaming that I was doomed for all of eternity and would be going to hell. All I could perceive was how I was going to be tortured for the rest of eternity, from the sounds of chainsaws and dogs barking to my teeth falling out and then being burned alive. I ended up in the ER 3 times. And the psych ward. I never had any mental illnesses in the past prior to taking ayahuasca. Now I find it hard to ever leave the house. I have major anxiety, depression, and fear. I lost my business. I lost my partner. I feel completely disconnected from my heart and spirit. I don't know what emotions are anymore. All I feel is despair. He later updates his Reddit post to say 1.5 years later, he finally feels somewhat normal again. 1.5 years later. Some people have reported if you go to the wrong retreats, if you go to the wrong practitioners, so-called American shamans who lure other Americans there to make money from their retreat, your mind could break because they don't facilitate it well. And if Cat Torres is the one facilitating the ayahuasca ceremony, I imagine it is not rooted in the great culture and history that it's supposed to be rooted in. Even Colburn, her husband, notices it. Colburn says their marriage starts deteriorating, just incinerating. Colburn is miserable. I don't know if it's the ayahuasca that she keeps taking, or maybe it's a personality issue, but everything Colburn does, Cat is upset. I wish I were joking, but she would have a dream that he's cheating on her, and she would wake up screaming and physically assaulting him over the dream. Not even just like, I'm mad at you, I had a dream. Just physically assaulting him. If he received any sort of message from a woman on his phone, it could be the banker that happens to be a woman. It could be his realtor that happens to be a woman. Hell, it could be his mom. Any woman on the phone, she will not ask questions. She will not gather context. She will not try to see if he's flirting with them. She'll immediately call that person and start cursing them out and threatening to kill them.
They're located in LA right now, or?
Yeah, so they moved from LA to New York. She moves around a lot, but primarily she's between LA and New York, and then eventually she'll settle down in Texas. Then one day Colburn comes home and there's this random Brazilian woman living with them. And he's like, who is she? What is she doing in our home? She follows me on Instagram. Okay, what is she doing in our home? She's going to help me with my business. I mean, you really have to be at like a lost cause stage of your relationship and marriage to no longer ask any follow-up questions. Colburn does not. He's like, yeah, I don't even care anymore. The random girl lives with them for 2 months before just vanishing. The random girl vanishes, their beloved cat vanishes, and then Cat Torres vanishes. Wife, pet, random roommate he never wanted, all gone. Also with his car, gone. What the hell is happening? Colburn's trying to get in contact with Cat every single waking hour because yeah, they were miserable, but this is also his wife and his cat and his car. I don't know which one matters more, but hello, at least give somebody a heads up. Nothing, she's gone. Days later, she calls back. Write this down, this is the address. You'll find the car with the cat inside. Where have you been? She just hangs up. He's got to go find his car and his cat. Not Cat Torres, their actual feline cat. And he has to hire a private investigator to find Cat Torres so he can serve her the divorce papers. The divorce takes longer than the actual marriage, and Cat is just opening her mouth and saying things. She's accusing him of stealing $20,000 from her and turning it into $10 billion in crypto. He is a crypto millionaire, but he's not a billionaire. And she's just saying stuff. And he's like, what are you saying? This is ridiculous. Eventually, they divorce. Kat takes full ownership of her social media business. He takes full ownership of his crypto investments, and they split the value of the house in half. To put it nicely, Cat Torres, her life is like a bag of trash on the side of the road with gasoline poured all over it, just waiting for an arsonist to lit a match. When she announces her divorce online, a lot of people turn on her. Because Cat Torres was kind of annoying. I'm sorry. I have to say it. Even before anyone knew about her crimes, she's just kind of annoying. She wants you to know that her life is perfect. Everything about her is perfect. She's the one that's posting on every single holiday about how her husband would die for her. And it's to the point where it's like, okay, I feel like you're trying to prove something to me and not to yourself. Like, it's weird right now. And so when she announces the divorce, people are like, this is weird. She also starts clubbing a lot. And she was always known for, oh, I eat so clean. I'm all about a clean lifestyle. And now she's getting drunk every day. So her followers are like, you are kind of weird. But she decides, now is the time when my life is falling apart to become a life coach. She sets up her own website, starts posting videos on YouTube saying things like, if I can do it, you can do it too. Are you able to forgive yourself? Remember, not only to say that you love yourself, but to really show it with your actions. I don't even know what that means. Okay? So get up, get out of your bed. Your life and your success are waiting for you. Your dreams are just around the corner. And it's like, no. You know what's around the corner when I get out of bed? A pile of laundry. Desiree, she lives in Germany with her boyfriend, Matt. Matt hates it, but it's also kind of all Matt's fault, so Desiree can't even help but hate Matt for it. And he knows that she knows it's his fault and that she hates him for it. That's what Desiree's dealing with right now. Desiree and Matt met in Canada as foreign exchange students. Desiree's from Brazil, Matt's from Germany, and Desiree saved up every single penny in Brazil to be able to come to Canada and study. And after a year and a half of dating Matt, out of nowhere, he's like, hey, so I'm thinking I'm gonna move back to my home country, Germany. What do you mean? There's no soft launch to this? You're just telling me? I'm just completely taken aback. He's never mentioned this idea before, and she's thinking, I never thought about living anywhere but Canada now. And that means if you move to Germany, either we're going to break up for good, because we can't do long distance prolonged, or I have to move to Germany. She talks to a few mutual friends, other foreign exchange students from Germany. Just be honest with me. Well, Germany's not known to be very welcoming to foreigners. These are what the German foreign exchange students are saying. Let's just say a lot of locals don't like it when you don't know German. They're not very, there's not a lot of leeway. It's a lot of back and forth, but Desiree ends up doing it. She's going to move to Germany to be with Matt, and it's fine because they're both serious about their relationship. She's going to adapt. Why not? The Germans will love her. She's going to have cute little babies running around Germany. It'll be perfect. A few weeks after the move, everything falls apart, and Matt is super depressed. He doesn't like living in Germany. And she's like, this was your idea. She's trying her best to be supportive, but also, hey, if you're struggling, think about how I'm doing. I don't even speak German. My family's not even here, okay? She goes to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. After 5, she takes German classes from 5 to 10 p.m., comes home, spends time with Matt before waking up and doing it all over again. And she's miserable. She feels suffocated. She's depressed. She's anxious. She's sitting there every single day crying. And Matt can't even help her because he's also mentally unwell. But it's like, why are you mentally unwell? And for 9 months, Desiree has these debilitating migraines that just are not getting better. She goes to several doctors. Nobody knows what's wrong with her. They suspect it's maybe stress. And they tell her, hey, why don't you try this really profound medical technique of not being stressed? And she's like, wow, that's a really great idea. Did you go to school for 93 years to learn this groundbreaking advice? Desiree is so desperate. She steps out of her personal comfort zone to try acupuncture. The pain magically disappears. The migraines are gone.
Wow.
And she starts thinking, okay, yeah, maybe alternative medicine is something to look into. And that's why she books her first session with Cat Torres. She had been following Cat Torres for a few years now because they're both Brazilian expats. So Cat Torres was living in America, Desiree's living in Canada, and she's a big influencer. And she's reading up on Cat, her ability to use methods like hypnosis and telepathy to change people's lives. It was very intriguing. Imagine this scenario. You have fought with your boyfriend. Cat Torres will simply telepathically talk to your boyfriend to make him forgive you.
Wow.
Yeah, Cat also claims that she could cure just about any disease, physical or psychological, and she knows spells such as how to conquer a man. You could just conjure a spell. Spells are, however, not free in this economy. One session for an hour costs about $150 to $200 of Cat's time. Or if you just want to read about Cat's tips and spells, you can pay $22 USD a month to be a subscriber for her website, where she posts about chakra opening, energy work, hypnosis. Desiree applies for a one-on-one consultation with Cat. The application is asking her for her zodiac sign, full name, and you have to make your social media profile public so that Cat can analyze your energy before the phone call. It's a Zoom call. And the very first phone call, Desiree is nervous because she's spending $150 for this. That's not a small amount. And Cat asks, what do you want to discuss today? My marriage mostly. She starts telling Cat about her marriage to Matt. Can I see a photo of Matt to analyze his energy? Ooh. I do not like what I'm feeling right now, Desiree. With your energy specifically, I could sense that you had a good heart. Your energy is shining brightly. It's the first thing that I see when I look at your pictures, but Matt, he's unreadable at first, but it's very clear that his energy is not compatible with yours. I do think that you guys need to get a divorce. That is the only best choice. However, I completely understand if you don't do it right now. I'm sure it's a lot of information to take in. Desiree is so freaking confused. Imagine you're just having small relationship problems in your life. You're like, okay, we've been fighting over the toilet seat or who does the dishes on Monday. And now suddenly they're like, divorce is the only option. What do you mean? This never even crossed her mind. Well, that's it for today's session, but I'm going to send over some material based on what we've discussed, and it's imperative that you follow these guidelines to the T, precisely. Kat sends over these audios of her, I guess like little mantras that she does to manifest a healthier relationship. And over the next few weeks, I don't know if Desiree is thinking it's helping or if her energy is shifting, but she's in a better place with Matt now. They're fighting less. She's less anxious. Everything is going well. So if one session with Kat can make such a good difference, why not another one? So over the next few months, she does more and more sessions with Kat, and she starts seeing more problems with Matt. Matt is too passive about everything. It's like he doesn't want to fight for her or the relationship. He just lets things happen to him in his life, and she doesn't like that. Meanwhile, Matt doesn't like the fact that every time they fight, Desiree is like, well, Kat said this. And he's like, who the hell is Kat? Why is she in our relationship? Sometimes forgetting is good. For example, squirrels will hide thousands of acorns and seeds in their lifetime, often forgetting where they hid them. And that is totally okay. The uneaten, forgotten seeds can now grow into big, strong trees, producing even more seeds of their own. The same principle can be applied to investing and acorns. Not the seed, but the financial wellness app. It makes it easy to start saving and investing for your future. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you and your money goals. You don't need to feel like financial wellness is impossible either. Acorns gives you small, simple steps to get you and your money on track. Sign up now and join the over 13 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $22 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/rotten or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 3 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/rotten. But unlike the first time that she talks to Cat, she slowly starts falling into a deep depression. She starts developing these sores on her eyelids that won't go away, these angry, inflamed sores. Again, she goes to all the best doctors in Berlin, and for 6 months, she can barely open her eyes because they're so swollen. Cat is the only one that feels confident enough to tell her what's wrong. Get a damp cloth infused with the list of herbs that I'm going to send you and take a bath with those same herbs. It's your pattern of living that keeps generating this illness. If you stop the pattern that you are living, the illness will also go away. Within a month, after directly, dutifully following all of Cat's instructions, Desiree's eye sores go away and they just never come back. And when Desiree would want to talk to Cat about it, how amazed she is, Cat would brush her off and redirects every little thing that Desiree brings up back to her marriage. I have the gift of premonition. And I'm telling you that your husband, Matt, is abusive. You just might not have seen it or witnessed it yet because you are in denial. My inner voice is telling me if you do not separate with him, something very bad will happen to you. It's confusing because when Desiree would bring up things or thoughts that she has about all of these with her friends, everything Cat is saying, she's asking her friends about it, and they would say, wait, what are you guys saying? You guys get along. You guys are perfect for each other. Yeah, everybody fights, but these are very normal fights you're bringing up.
So what exactly happened with the eyesore?
Nobody knows.
Okay, so it was just some kind of medical condition
and it's gone now because of Cat. And she says to Cat, you know, we've thought about what you've been saying, and Matt and I have decided that we're going to see a therapist. No. Your therapist will be German because you're in Germany. They will protect Matt's interest over yours 1,000% because he is German and you're Brazilian. You need to divorce him. No, but I love him. You know all your mysterious sicknesses that you've had since you've been with Matt? He has been hiring a witch who has been casting cursing spells against you. I didn't want to tell you this because I thought it would freak you out. I have been trying to counteract them. I've been very busy. I've spent a lot of money on this. After months of this, Desiree divorces Matt, blocks his number, and moves to the US to join Cat's coven of witches. Cat posts online about her powerful witch coven. She posts pictures of her newest members, Desiree, aka D, area of operation, Germany, USA, and Europe. Her public witch name has not yet been definitively defined. Strengths, her mental power, intelligence, wit, numbers, company, social relevance, and communication with customers. Followers and other witches, she is the one who saves us from society. We don't need to speak because D will speak for us. And that way, you will see everything you want and need. Cat writes about herself. Cat, Queen, Chief of the Witches is her second name. She is the one who commands the gang of witches and gives the orders and receives all the loyalty and gratitude of the sister witches. Witchcraft of intense power in the branch of love, money, and health. Healer, healing with the hands, healing with the mind, power of hypnosis, and mental manipulation of any person or animal heart that carries the answer to all the questions of the world. Angel, caretaker of the human race, protector of the weak and voiceless. Cat is an important tool for planetary change. She's the key to a new era of better humans.
Where is she posting these?
Instagram?
Is this like her new little business, like a witch business?
Yeah, where you can pay her to protect you and cast spells.
So this Desiree is her new recruit.
Yes.
Into the business.
Yes, but Desiree's like, I don't know what she's posting about because I'm not a witch. I don't even really believe in witchcraft. Like, the herbs have been helping, but she thinks it's more so just an alternative medicine thing. It's not necessarily witchcraft. She doesn't think, at least not yet. Once she moves to the US, she slowly becomes indoctrinated by Cat. Then there's Letitia. It is written that Letitia is a major witch. In caps. Very powerful, better known as the Capetta himself. Whoever messes with one of us is messing with her, and whoever messes with her is messing with the devil. The only witch Cat is afraid of is Letitia, and Cat is not afraid of anyone. Cat even made them all dye their hair blonde so that they could match, like little sister witches. They all lived together in Cat's new house in Texas. And to prove that they are a coven of witches, they even have a witchcraft room, which sounds like the least witchiest thing that you could call the room. Cat has this large altar in the room where she haphazardly set up a bunch of candles next to religious images. She's not even religious. She has these felt voodoo dolls. All their faces have a big frown and their eyes are stitched on X's. It's unclear who those voodoo dolls are. Everyone that's unfollowed Cat in the past, perhaps, I don't know. She also has a ton of bat's blood, which is believed to be used in various rituals, particularly for protection, breaking hexes, and committing curses. Most modern bat's blood ink does not actually contain actual bat's blood, but practitioners use it to inscribe words of power to enhance their spell work. You can also use it in spells to bind negative influences. Cat is like, welcome HGTV to my house tour. Here's my witchcraft room. This is where I pray to the angels. That's what Cat tells everyone in her life. Every day, I spend so much energy praying to the angels for their protection, health, and prosperity. At this point, Cat and her witch coven, just consisting of victims, they're all living in this single family home in Texas. It's Cat, Letitia. She is one of the main victims, but she has not come forward with her story. So a lot of it is, this episode is based on Desiree because she gives firsthand accounts of what happened. And then Jessica, which is a fake name. Jessica leaves halfway through. So Jessica is not there as long as Desiree and Letitia are there.
So there are 4 girls living in there.
Yes, and Cat's multiple pets. A cat, a Bengal cat, like one of those big cats that look like tigers or like leopards. A ferret, a rabbit, a snake, scorpions, small aquatic caterpillars, spiders, parakeets, and a dog named Nathaniel.
Wow.
Yeah, as well as Cat's new husband, Zachary. Yeah, but it seems like it's mainly Cat running the house. She will say to everyone, I just want you to know that any of my clients that have not listened to my voice, they have ended up severely depressed or facing disastrous consequences in life. And there's just something about somebody who is so confident that you just feel like you can't argue with them. One former client who honestly is probably just another victim to the scam, but she says she paid for a session with Cat and Cat comes in aggressive. You're very insecure. She's like, whoa. Okay, I feel like that's rude. I feel like you shouldn't say that to a paying customer. I mean, I used my entire savings for this session. What do you mean? What do you mean? You're very insecure. And I know this because you have a very high-pitched voice. The confidence is what gets the client. Even after the call, she's swinging back and forth between what the hell is that about? And also, I guess it kind of makes sense. Like maybe she's seeing something that I'm not seeing and it's just so obvious to her because she's so in tune with people. Maybe there's something deeply profound about this woman. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of where someone was reading me my horoscope. I love my astrology, people. I really do. However, I was absolutely nodding my head and resonating with every little thing that they were saying until it turned out that they were reading the horoscope for a Virgo and I'm a Sagittarius. But I was like, this is me. This is me. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And I feel it deep in my bones. And again, I love my astrology, people. However, in that specific scenario and with Cat, it's like factually correct, but applicable to many. That's the situation. But the sheer confidence that Cat has would probably have me second guessing myself. She would tell people to do their homework, which is to send proof that they've followed all of her directions. Write down all your negative thoughts on a piece of paper, all your negative thoughts about your life, your future, your career prospects. Write it down in a list, fill up the entire page, 2 pages, and then flush it down the toilet. It is like she is an industry plant for the plumbing industry because that is not safe. One client, let's call her Chloe, she is told by Cat to write down a list of everything she's looking for in an ideal man. Just all the traits that she wants in her future husband. Chloe listens. One day she meets a man, and he's cute, he's sweet. She's going down her list. She's checking off nearly every single box, except for one. But no other guy has gotten this close to checking off all the boxes. Chloe doesn't know what to do, so she calls Cat. What's the one thing that he does not check off? Cat is asking her. Chloe's like, intelligence. Cat tells her the only way is to do it, to have intimate relations with him, and I think it'll be okay. Chloe's like, this is kind of strange. I don't know if that's the right advice. Like, how would I know if he's intelligent by having intimate relations with him? I feel like it's not adding up. Chloe's still booking sessions with Cat, but side note, she's studying law, and it's been a lifelong dream of hers, and that's the only thing she cares about in life is her career, and Cat knows this, but during one random session, Cat tells her, the voice has been telling me about you. You need to work as a model. I used to be a model. You know, I know what I'm talking about, and I think you will do well. I'm flattered, Cat, but like I said, I'm trying to be a lawyer. I'm pretty serious about it. No, the voice is telling me that you need to quit school to pursue modeling. I can't see anything for you except making money using your appearance. The voice only ever talks to me about your appearance. Cat starts trying to convince Chloe to drop out of law school, move to the US with Cat, and become a model. Chloe suspects that this is not a normal life coach. She cuts off contact with Cat, and within the next few days, Cat tells her, I will curse you. I will curse your womb so that you will never be able to have children in the future ever. It's very scary. Which is why all of the roommates, Letitia, Desiree, and Jessica, they all follow the rules of the house. Rule number 1, the law of silence. In this Texas home, none of the witches, none of the girls, none of the victims in the house are allowed to communicate with each other. They can only talk directly with Cat. That is it. They are to stay in their separate rooms unless they are out doing chores. Another bizarre rule is that none of the girls are allowed to talk to anyone outside of the house, which would freak out the neighbors. The neighbors would wave hi, and the girls would just stare at them in silence. Yeah, needless to say, they thought there was a cult in there. The neighbor said the whole house was weird. You know Zachary, the husband? He's good looking. He rarely ever had a shirt on. But Cat feels like this is not enough. She wants a team of assistants to come from Brazil to the United States to assist her in... I don't even know what Cat is doing at this point. She's like aggressively doing nothing, so I'm not sure exactly what she needs the support on. But she starts flying in people to Texas to live with her in this house. Side note, many of the assistants she would bring in are Brazilian, but they're already based in the US. Most of them had student visas. They're in college, which if you leave college, you start working, you lose your student visa and it becomes a big immigration nightmare. Technically, you risk getting deported. Nevertheless, a lot of women start coming in and trying to work with Cat because everything about her seems like she is trying to nurture other people and grow them into becoming this very successful woman that she claims to be.
Eu quero vocês todos milionários e ponto final. Só que vender cursinho na internet não estava funcionando mais. Só que eu pensei, tem um site, as pessoas já se prepararam energeticamente, agora elas podem vir até a minha casa e eu vou mostrar pra elas o que é ter dinheiro. Então eu quero todo mundo aqui trabalhando comigo. Eu tô trazendo os brasileiros pra cá.
And when you instantly go to Cat's house, you have a rude awakening. Everything online, she presents herself as this very clean, put-together woman, but her entire house is disgustingly filthy. Cat parades around social media with this crazy aesthetic of being the mascot of Dawn dish soap. Basically, that's what it feels like. But everything is just filled with grime. She looks like the type to only eat organic food, eat home-cooked meals. Perhaps she's even fully keto, but their fridge is filthy even though it's empty. It's just really gross. And she's just getting bossed around. These assistants, they're told that you're gonna come in, learn business building opportunities, but instead you just get bossed around to clean toilets. Sometimes you would watch clients come in for alien baths.
Alien what?
Alien bath.
Uh-huh.
It's like ayahuasca, but she puts you in a lukewarm bathtub filled with microplastics. She just be sprinkling Halloween decor from Party City into the bathtub, and she swirls it around, gives you ayahuasca, and then tries to convince you to come live with her. And this is not the first time that Cat hires assistants. Previously, when she was in New York, she hired assistants. Anna, being one of her biggest victims of this, she was there for 3 months. Cat would practically torture her. Cat did not like to do anything alone. If Cat had to shower, Anna had to be there. If Cat had to do this, Anna had to be there. She did not like a moment of silence. It's like she couldn't even do adult things, not even a second by herself. The only time that Anna got a moment of rest is when Cat would go out to the clubs. She would sleep on the couch that was just covered in cat feces and urine. The feline, not Cat Torres's. Well, maybe. I don't know, right? It was just vile. But now fast forward to Texas, Jessica is the main assistant and she doesn't want to be there anymore. This is not what she signed up for, especially because there's a few other girls living in the house, which she was introduced to them and she thought that they were all kind of going to be assistants. But one day, Cat instructs Jessica, you're going to drive the other girls to the local strip club. Jessica refuses. That's just weird. And then she ends up escaping later on because she's like, I feel like something weird is going to happen. I just don't have a good feeling about this. When Desiree gets hired at the local strip club, the gentleman's club, she more or less gets bullied into getting hired by Cat, who tells her that this is what her voice is telling her to do. When she gets hired, they ask for her stage name. She blurts out the first name that she can think of. Chanel. Great, Chanel. You start today. The other dancers are over there. The male manager points to the door at the end of the long hallway. It's semi-dark in the hallway. Go change, get ready, and hit the stage. She's wearing this bikini and denim shorts that Cat lent her. She looks good, right? But she takes a good look at herself in the mirror. She takes a deep breath and she heads towards the main stage. There's this overly sensual song that's playing. And she's like, I don't think I can do this. She's about to U-turn, but instead she takes a few shots of tequila, downs them, heads up onto the stage. The first song passes. Okay, it's not that bad. The audience is interested, kind of, right? I mean, she can't tell. She's so nervous. Then a second song starts playing. The manager is in the crowd, sternly motioning for her, like, remove your top, remove your top. She's like, what? No. She freezes, and the audience, the DJ, the manager, they start, like, pumping their fists in the air, encouraging her. She gives in, she removes her top, and she tries to black out the rest of the night. At the end of the night, she's in Cat's kitchen counting the money that she's earned, and Cat is so ecstatic. I told you could do it. Oh, Desiree, we're gonna be so rich. Cat grabs the money from her. I'm gonna manage the funds. I have a safe in my room that I can lock, and you should also leave your passport in the safe. You don't want one of the other girls at the club to find it and figure out your situation. By situation, Cat is referring to the fact that Desiree does not have legal status to work. She's here on like a tourist visa. And the manager of the club, it took a lot of convincing and almost begging on Cat's part to get Desiree hired without papers. She's working under the table. And Cat gets serious. Listen, the voice told me, you and I, we're gonna open our business together. And we need funds. Desiree, you're so beautiful. You're gonna find so many men there who value you like you deserve to be. But remember, you have to stay alert at all times. You cannot trust anyone. Your light is so bright, it attracts a lot of envy. Don't share the details of your life with anyone. I will give you an energy bracelet and necklace that's gonna protect you. Desiree doesn't like it. But she decides she has to do this because this is what the voice in Cat's mind told her to do. So it must be true. The next day, Desiree goes to the club. It's like something happened. She gets up on the stage. It's no longer Desiree, it's Chanel. She's feeling powerful, like she's channeling someone else's energy. She can almost feel the money coming her way. She says she felt like she's not in her body. Her body is crawling, trying to seduce clients, and she's just letting it happen because this is what Cat told her to do. This is the only option she has. She stays till 5 a.m. that morning, and that would be a reoccurring thing, working till 5 a.m. Very quickly, Desiree, or Chanel, becomes one of the more sought-out dancers. Clients said that they love how exotic she is. Great. I love humans. But because Cat would push her to make more money, Desiree felt like she didn't want to disappoint her unless she did everything to capitalize on every single client that comes in. So to maximize her potential, she would spend hours without drinking, not even a sip of water, without eating anything so that she doesn't have to use the restroom. When she gets home that night, all the money goes straight to Cat. In 2 weeks, working every waking hour, Desiree makes $9,000. Cat said, it's just not good enough. Aim to make $1,000 a day. That is the only way to make the business work. That's what the voice is telling me. You gotta do it. Every night, Cat convinces her that rather than working their butts off for years before achieving their dreams, why not just work a few months at the club to get paid the same amount? Just work harder. She would tell her, you're beautiful. You're wasting $1 million opportunity by not using your beauty. Take advantage of what you're born with. I used to be in Hollywood. Everyone there was once a dancer or a sex worker. This is very normal in America. Desiree doesn't really want to do this, and she's not having a good time. Every night she comes home emotionally exhausted, feeling gross. Physically speaking, her legs are completely swollen. She's anxious. She feels like there's no way to say no to Cat. She keeps trying to convince herself it's just dancing. How many times have I gone to a party and danced? I'm doing the same thing, except this time I'm getting paid for it. She knows it's not true, but it helps her feel a little more brave. If she ever comes home depressed looking, Cat massages her shoulders, telling her, this isn't a sin. Don't feel bad. The gods and the angels don't have the ability to judge. Only humans do. God is better than that. Besides, it's not supposed to feel easy and happy. If not, everybody else would do it and be successful, and you would no longer be special. It's very difficult, I know, which is why only 1% of people succeed. You need to stay focused, Desiree, with no distractions. It's unclear if the other victims in the home were working at clubs. It's likely that they were, but they have not come forward themselves to state. But there has been evidence pointing to the fact that they were victimized the same way Desiree has been, which means not only is she taking Desiree's money, which is thousands of dollars a week, but also other victims. Everyone in the house did everything that Cat wanted. And Cat and her husband, Zach, would aggressively just exist, breathing in oxygen. They were professional couch potatoes. She says that she has all these health problems, so she cannot work, and Zach needs to stay at home to take care of her full time. But listen, one day, this is what Cat is telling Desiree. One day, you will not need to worry about anything. We will work together, focus on our business, we will be rich, and money will never be a problem again. Which is very easy for Cat to say when she gets to lay on the couch all day while Desiree has to go to work and has to fight to survive. Quite literally, because Desiree has been gaining a lot of attention with clients. She is one of the most popular dancers at this specific club. She starts noticing weird things are happening to her at work. Once, mysteriously, her heel breaks. She almost sprains her ankle, trips, and breaks her nose on the stage. Almost, but she catches herself. Another time, right before she's about to get changed, she noticed someone came and cut up her favorite outfit. The clients love this outfit. This is her VIP outfit, ripped up, shredded in the dressing room. She's working 15-hour days, drinking 3 energy drinks per day, then alternating with tequila shots to endure the pain of dancing for hours in tall heels. She constantly has these bloody blisters on her feet. Her legs would wobble whenever she would walk outside of work because of the constant cramps. Her back is never not burning from pain. The sunlightless atmosphere and rarely cleaned air vents in the club, it would cause her to sneeze so much she had to get anti-allergy meds and take them every single day, as well as painkillers for her sores. Whenever she tried to bring this up to Cat, she would look at her quietly, listen to her list of struggles, and her face would turn cold. You know, you're spoiled. You're weak. Do you know how many spells I had to cast to even get you hired at this club? Did you think it was easy? You say you have faith, but you don't trust the angels protecting you. You don't trust me. Look at how your life was before you met me and how it is now. Look at the abundance that you've learned from me. Successful people do whatever it takes to make it to the top. I thought you wanted this as badly as I did. If Desiree would bring up potentially moving back to Germany, Cat would sigh. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to scare you, but you keep talking about possibly going back to Berlin, so I need to tell you something. The voice told me that you have a financial curse in the past life. This is very serious. Not even witchcraft can reverse it. You are special, so the angels are giving you a chance. But for that, you need to strictly follow my instructions. You will not go back to Germany. If you do, you will never achieve wealth and abundance, and your opportunity is now or never. By this point, Desiree is making $1,000 to $5,000 per day, working 15-hour days. Cat is forcing her to hand over all the money. She only gets $20 a day for food. I will say Desiree is doing the best out of everyone in the club, but the club itself is not the best one in the area. And they have a variety of clients. Desiree describes them as emotionally immature men, unhappy husbands, disillusioned men, businessmen, rappers, lawyers, athletes, and most dangerously, the drug dealers. The drug dealers aren't even here to see the girls. They're here to make clients of the girls and the other customers. It's an hourly thing that the clients will ask Desiree to do drugs with them. Come on, have fun. She always tells them no, but that doesn't stop them from trying to roofie her. She's been roofied multiple times by clients in the club that she works at. In the VIP rooms, yes, there are rules. No touching rules. But she can count more times that men in there will still, for whatever reason, I don't know, mysterious reason, they will start unbuttoning their pants as if they have something special in there. that other men do not, which, like, side note, they don't. They say dancers can also predict the downturn of an economy faster than economists. They can gauge how much disposable income someone has. And right now is not a good time for the club. The economy is fine, but the club nearby is doing drink promotions around the same time. And at the same time, at this club that Desiree's in, there's a shooting inside the club between two customers, and the girls are fleeing. They're hiding in the bathroom. Clients are naturally apprehensive about coming back for a while, and Desiree is traumatized. She thought she was going to die that day. And that weekend, she still worked because Cat made her. And instead of making $1,000 for a 15-hour day, she made $100 because no one's coming in. Cat threw a chair at her. You're so stupid. You don't want to prosper in life. Stop making some stupid excuse and try harder. The next day, Cat starts talking to Desiree about an easier way to make money. No blisters on your feet. Are we going to open our business now? No, it's too soon. But you can start seeing men from the club outside of the club. What? Everyone does it. It's normal. No one's going to judge you for doing what you need to do to survive. Everybody in Hollywood starts off as escorts. All the Oscar-winning actresses, they were all escorts at one point. With Cat's exhaustive, nonstop urging, forcing, begging, Desiree finally asks one of the girls at the club, "You do that? What is it like?" And she tells her very grimly, "It's fine. The secret is to disassociate from yourself. If you can emotionally disconnect from the situation and stay in a trance, it's going to be a lot easier for you." Desiree has no choice. She's in the US with no means to get back to Germany. She's nonstop bombarded with emotionally draining conversations from Cat. She has no visa status in the US. She has no power here, and she's fully indoctrinated. In the book, Desiree writes, she starts convincing herself because it feels like she has no other choice. She tries to make it feel like her own choice. She says, "You're right, I'm Chanel from the club, not Desiree. It's Chanel that has the confidence. Chanel is walking around like she owns the place. Chanel is powerful, so why not let Chanel dominate men and take their money?" That is how Desiree gets essentially trafficked. Cat is the definition of what some would formerly call a PIMP. I'm not sure if that word is sensitive or not. They're now known as traffickers, but I think there's a lot of discourse online of, oh, was Desiree trafficked because she still went every single day? She was taking Ubers there. She was getting taxis to go there. And if she made $3,000 in cash one day, why didn't she just use that to buy a plane ticket to Germany and then leave? But it's different. This is literally the same situation. A lot of the times you hear about men pretending to be in emotional relationships with women, then pressuring them into work with promises of, this is what we need to buy our dream house so we can have babies together and live a normal family life. Then once they get into the work, they start blackmailing, extorting, threatening, abusing, and manipulating the woman to continue regardless of whether or not they want to. And that's exactly what's happening. The very first time Desiree goes to meet with a client outside the club, they arrange for $1,000 for the hour. And she says she couldn't stop shaking. She had all these questions of, can I stop when I want? What if the protection breaks and I catch an uncurable disease? What if the client is an undercover cop who's going to arrest me? What if he's a serial killer and he kills me? The 60 minutes felt like an eternity, and by the time she comes out, she's crying. Does Cat, the life coach filled with so much spiritual wisdom and guidance, care? No, she does not. She yells at Desiree for not getting more clients. Even if she has to lower her rates to $200 an hour, she should not be a selfish brat and just do it. Why are you on a high horse, charging $1,000 for an hour? What are you doing all the other hours? Cat tries to send her to someone named Richard, who owns a brothel. I mean, he runs a brothel out of his own house, actually. He's 65 years old. He looks like a polite little grandpa, and nobody would ever suspect him of running a brothel out of his house. I think they think it's an Airbnb. The experience was soul-crushing. Desiree begged Cat, please, can we just stop? I feel like we have enough money now, or I can just go back to dancing at the club. It's fine. But Cat would guilt trip her. It is always the perfect, draining, so exhausting, you can't even think of a logical reason to fight back to Cat because she's mentally exhausted you to the point where you can't even think. That's what it feels like. Desiree would see 6 clients a day, then take a shower, then head straight to the club where she would dance until 5 in the morning. And then she would do it all over again. Meanwhile, just to emphasize how insufferable and evil Cat is, she starts spending Desiree's money on hiring a personal trainer for her husband, Zach, because she said the angels told her he's going to be a professional MMA fighter. that's going to earn millions throughout his career. In order to do this, Desiree needs to make $2,000 a day at a minimum so that they can save up for their business and also pay for Zach's future. Cat set up a gym in the house, brought in a massage chair, brought in personal trainers, and then encouraged Zach to get a scorpion tattoo on his chest because it's going to make him look a lot more aggressive. The more Zach's career is not growing, but he needs more training, Desiree has to work harder. Now the new target is $3,000 a day. And the new rule is Desiree is not allowed to come back home unless she meets her target for the day. Desiree says there were so many nights that she would fall asleep on the street because she did not meet the goal. She's not allowed back in the house. Some days she worked 24 hours straight without sleeping. But again, if she doesn't meet the goal, Cat accuses her of being lazy. Months go by, Desiree is trying so hard to meet these exhausting targets. She's always tired and she can't even think of escaping at this point. She says at this point, she starts feeling like, yeah, this girl does not have my best intentions, but I'm so mentally drained. I don't even know how to, the resistance to stop this cycle feels impossible. But by far, one of the more egregious things that Cat does is suddenly she has this new plan that Desiree would scam one of her wealthiest clients. So a lot of the clients are paying $1,000, $2,000 for the hour. She has this one very influential client that's paying $15,000 for the hour and tipping her like $3,000, $5,000. Cat's new plan is Desiree is going to get pregnant by this man and blackmail him. Cat tells Desiree to keep having unprotected intimate times with her top client and then go take her IUD out, which by the way is so painful. And Cat is telling her the whole way through, you know, my biggest regret in life is that when I was modeling, I was around so many millionaires and I didn't get pregnant by one of them. Desiree refuses. She's like, I'm not going to bring a child into this world so that I can scam someone out of money. Are you crazy? That's a literal human being that I'm bringing into the world on this. This is the setup you want? Cat forces her to go to the hospital to remove her IUD. The hospital sternly tells her, do not have intimate relations for the next few days. And this is going to hurt a lot. It does. It's so painful. They get home and Cat is telling her she needs to go back to work right now. Are you crazy? Desiree is crying in pain. She can't go back to work. Cat starts screaming at her. You are being so selfish. You know that? If you stop working, then everyone in this house is going to be punished by the voice. Desiree goes back to work. Not only that, she's in severe pain and she develops a severe infection. It's only then that the doctor is like, hey, so you really need to like cut it out. Otherwise you can never have intimate relations ever again. So 2 weeks, you're going to be on antibiotics. Cat only let her rest 2 days before forcing her to the club and forcing her to do house chores. She would tell her, it's all in your head, the pain. Yet guess what, Cat? The voices are all in your head too. Meanwhile, Cat is just going around spending so much money on all of these Halloween decor, honestly, that she's calling witchcraft. The weekly expense for, quote, witchcraft, which is such a vague bookkeeping label, is around $3,000 a week. Cat says this is so necessary to perform and destroy their enemies. They have to perform spells. And eventually, the targets keep going up, and now the daily target is $20,000. In 1 month alone, a really busy month, Desiree made $1 million in a month. The next plan was to earn another $1 million in the next 1.5 months, and Cat told her, okay, I promise, with this $2 million, it'll finally be enough. We'll finally start our business with a nice emergency fund. It'll be great. And whilst this is happening, Cat is fighting all these other battles. She's constantly fighting with Zach's dad. So Zach is 19 when they met. Yeah, Cat is many years older, like over a decade older. And she has a lot of scandalous pictures on their Instagram. Zach comes from a very religious family. They end up getting married. Zach is running away with her. And anytime Zach's father tries to reach out, Cat would even post a threat to her on Instagram saying,
I want you to die. I hope you listen to this. You understand this? Die. Leave me and my family alone.
And one of Cat's witches, the other victim in this case, Letitia, posts online. So this is all happening while they're being trafficked. Allegedly, Letitia's being trafficked, but Desiree, right? I'm here to speak in the name of Cat Torres because the world is in danger. Cat Torres is in danger. Mark Zuckerberg, Vladimir Putin, they need to find Cat Torres. They need to save the world from war. If they don't see this message, the messages posted on this Instagram account, the world will be destroyed. So this is another aspect to how they were likely human trafficked. It seems like the girls were either so exhausted and indoctrinated and perhaps sleep deprived, nutrition deprived, isolated from everyone, but also maybe they were undergoing intense ayahuasca sessions. Because in a lot of the videos, Letitia does not seem like she's in her right state of mind. Her family members would see the videos that Cat is actively posting onto her Instagram and be like, what is happening right now? Cat would go on to Instagram to talk about how she can end the Russia-Ukraine war. Additionally, she states that if every single person PayPals her and she can make $2,500, she will tell the world the secret to stopping the Russia-Ukraine war. Which I don't know what the correlation is. Is this like the price for human life for Cat? It's weird.
This was like what, last couple years? Or?
2022.
Wow.
When she gets the money, because surprisingly people donated, she never live streams about it ever again. Never explains anything. There are speculations that there's some truth to everything. A lot of people that knew Cat think that the ayahuasca melted her brain. I don't know if that's a good excuse. I don't know. I've never done ayahuasca, so I don't know how much of your core values it can genuinely change, or if it just brings out the evil in some people that already have it, that's just dormant in their bodies. I have no clue. But everything she says, there's some pertinence there that leads back to ayahuasca. Like there's some truth in everything, but not really. It's like she's still hallucinating is what a lot of people say. So for example, she's saying she knows how to end the Russia-Ukraine war. Everything she is saying is absolutely insane. And horse manure is probably worth more than the information she might have. But at some point in her life, she was dating someone that was very close friends with Vladimir Putin, allegedly. Even Colburn, her ex-husband, believes that Cat had been in a relationship with a Russian oligarch when she first arrived in New York City. That's how she was funding her entire lifestyle. She was not a good model. I'm sorry, she's beautiful, I guess conventionally, not on the inside. She's living in 123 Washington Street at the W Residences. It's like $8,000 for a basic unit. She's buying designer bags. Every single month, she would go and fly to the most beautiful resort and just stay there for weeks at a time. There's no way that she was funding this with her modeling career. She also knew, allegedly, very specific Ukrainian ports that Russia wanted because it would give them maritime access to Turkey, which would help them facilitate oil distribution without passing through other parts of Europe. So it's very oddly specific. It felt like she must have known someone who knew the ins and outs of what the Russian government, or well, Putin, was interested in. But that relationship with the alleged Russian oligarch fell apart when Cat had this issue with her left breast. She insisted it was a flesh-eating bacteria that was eating away at her chest. Whatever it was pretty bad. It was an opened wound about 4 inches deep. Most sources state that she did have surgery, but she claims in her book that she healed it with the law of attraction. So I am inclined to believe that she did have surgery. Now, according to Cat's roommate at the time, he says, my understanding was there was a Russian oligarch that was taking care of her. He was paying for that apartment. Then she said that she had a flesh-eating disease. Had to have her breast removed and reconstructed. Once she had the surgery, I think most of those men were gone. It seemed to me that after she was no longer useful as a conquest, I think those men, they weren't really there for her. When the whole I can save the world gets old, Cat has a new message for all of her followers. The police of California will follow my orders of Mother Mary. By all means, I'm the queen of the universe. I'm Magdalena, Magdalena, Mary, 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 Mary. He, to protect our son. The time you're not going to kill him. He's the Messiah. I'm the Messiah. He's the king. Going to rule the world. You guys are going to be listening to him. He is God himself, like God himself. He is God himself. Did you all hear me? Did you all hear me? Did you all hear the message? You dummies, do not touch that man. Has a cross in his arms is written. They may lay down on the floor when Zachary men king walk. All of them with their hands down like this. You're going to lay on the floor in this position with your hands like this. Hands here, where we can see them. Lay on the floor like this. She's just laying like on her stomach on the floor. Feel my body, my body, my body, my body. You're going to lay like this when he passes you.
Is this like a video, Instagram video?
Yeah. And she's clearly on drugs. The only thing it's reminiscent of is the pink...
Yeah.
Because she was like pink, 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 pink. And that was the only time I had seen the repetition of specific words and sentences. And she keeps doing that.
He just needs to calm himself down. He's fine. He's my husband. And you listen to what he says, unless he wants to kill me or disrupt me or stop me, but you should not touch him. You should not touch Zachary Mencken. Should not.
There is a question on whether or not Zach knew what his wife was doing. It is presumed, yeah, he definitely knew, but he likely turned a blind eye to it since he's profiting, and why not? That is what Desiree believes. He's not necessarily facilitating it, but he's a part of it. He's benefiting from it, and he's acting like it doesn't exist. He just goes along with Kat's plans. In one Instagram story, Kat calls Zach on the phone. So she's live streaming on one phone, and then she's FaceTiming Zach. Zachary, are you listening to me? He responds, yes, I am.
You may never hurt the Messiah. Cat Torres, she's your wife, and you must protect her by all means. They're gonna kill. They're gonna try kill her. You protect her by all means. You're the son of Mother Mary. Your brother Nathan, Mencken, Ada, Mencken are the sons of God. You understand that? They're gonna heal the world and rule the world in America by your side. In the name of Mother Mary and your Queen Cat Torres, the Messiah. I'm Jesus Christ. Understand me?
I mean, it's weird because if you believe that he's not involved, that would be a very weird assumption to make because he thinks that they're all messiahs and the world will bow down to them, but he doesn't think his wife is a human trafficker. It's kind of weird. Now, in one video, she's pacing around the room and she says, I am the queen of the universe. I'm Magdalena. And our son is going to be Messiah. She also states her parents' full government names and says they gave birth to a girl, aka her, that will save the world by being married to Zachary. I am Magdalena from the Bible, the prostitute. She was the Messiah. Yeah. Now, this is a completely, slightly unrelated, but further proves that she's a questionable character. She also would write about the pandemic. She would write, I love Corona. Unfortunately, she's not talking about the beer. She would write, I loved Corona. I wouldn't take it out of existence for anything. I was the biggest fan of Corona. I'm just not a fan of quarantine. For me, everyone had to face the virus with courage, but they did it like the cowards they are. Kisses. She would even post on Twitter completely naked pictures of herself with just her private parts censored out, and it would say the words, I am against quarantining. And she would write, disrespect for freedom is the most heinous thing. We have only been given one right as humans, to exist as we please. The laws are already stupid, but now they've reached their full absurdity. Hashtag quarantine never. She also tells people to stop taking their medications because she will save them from cancer and all terminal illnesses, and medicine is a hoax. But then she also turns around and says she's seen the vision for her life. And her new vision is to move back to Brazil, open up a brothel, hire a bunch of 14-year-old girls who will serve as the workers, but also as witches.
That's what she said?
Yeah. If you are to ever point out how odd that is, she has a message for her haters. You will get cancer in your ass. You will have diarrhea today until your guts fall out. You're a loser who will never achieve anything in life. Sometimes she'll target specific haters and say, I heard she just had a daughter. I hope she's ugly.
Specific what?
Haters.
Oh.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. If she really feels anger towards someone, she will post online to her millions of followers, your skull will be placed in a special place in my home. She'll also say things like, now I want to see if I can make you lose all your children. It's a lot. Now, at this point, people are just seeing this online. They don't know that she is involved in human trafficking and is going to be arrested on slavery-related charges. They just know that she's losing her mind, and they think that she's the former girlfriend of Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's touch on that real quick. She probably has it out for Leonardo DiCaprio also at this point. Cat Torres was first acknowledged by Hollywood in 2013 when the ever-reputable, peer-reviewed academic publication The Daily Mail starts posting pictures of Leonardo DiCaprio in France at the Cannes Festival, with thought-provoking titles such as Leo out with his new blondie, Leo's new Brazilian girlfriend. And there's a handful of pictures of Leo at the club, and next to him is this very thin, blonde woman with a ponytail wearing almost no makeup. It seems like they're on a casual date. The photos are grainy, they're paparazzi pictures, and by all accounts, it seems legitimate. In one picture, they're right next to each other. In another picture, Leo is walking in front of the blonde woman, and she's following him, and her hand is on his back, which seems like a very intimate way to walk through the club. If you just see the pictures, I'd be like, okay, yeah, they're dating, they're in a situationship, or whatever Leo does. That is exactly how people first hear about Cat Torres as his new potential girlfriend. Within 24 hours, people forget her name because it's not remarkably important. They're like, he dates so many people.
So it is her in the photo.
Yes. Now, in the US, people forget about her. In Brazil, the newspaper Extra goes and does an interview with Cat, and she neither confirms nor denies her relationship with Leo, which I think is indirectly confirming it. She's being coy. She's being very smart even. She's saying, I met Leo in Cannes. We were staying in the same house during the festival. As for the photo, I don't know how they even got those pictures because we had security all over, and no one could even get close enough under any circumstances. Yeah, Leo's incredible, but I worry what he'll think about me talking to you guys. We have a pact that nothing can ever be said about our relationship. And you know, when we were in Europe, it was very different. People would see us together in many places and they don't really care. They don't need to ask us about anything. We're just normal people. She might as well have said, Leonardo DiCaprio asked me to marry him in Vegas tomorrow and I'm actually pregnant with his triplets who we will be naming Leo, Leia, and Leonard. In the same interview, Kat even confirms she's going to be moving from Paris to Manhattan. She's like, I'm going to be moving to New York City, which everyone's like, wait, okay, this seems like it's getting serious with Leonardo DiCaprio. Except none of this is true. Not even in the slightest.
What?
Kat did indeed rub shoulders with Leo in France. He claims they never even dated. Right after those pictures were taken, he went to go have dinner with his girlfriend. Another model. Yeah. Which I'm inclined to believe. There are speculations that Kat maybe was an acquaintance of Leonardo DiCaprio or even bombarded him at the club. And he was entertaining her because she's pretty, but she had hired the paparazzi to take pictures. And she neither denied nor confirmed the relationship, which is basically confirming it. And it's even confirmed that she's the one that called Extra to do the interview.
Yeah. No,
She's
that
like,
makes
hey.
sense. That matches exactly how she acts.
Yes, even the meme creation, this is all on point.
So she saw Leo at a club, probably, you know.
I would imagine that she even went to the Cannes Festival to do this with some celebrity. I don't know if it would have been Leonardo DiCaprio, just whoever celebrity she could find and get in the vicinity of.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, near the end of 2022, a story starts going viral in Brazil. There's this Brazilian influencer luring young women to America, and then they vanish. The young women are kind of missing. They're not connected to each other. It's the strangest thing, and it's even more bizarre because you can see videos of them online, but they're technically missing. The two main missing persons cases that even mainstream media outlets in Brazil get involved with are that of 21-year-old Letitia and 25-year-old Desiree. Desiree's friends started an Instagram account for her called @SearchingDesiree, which is also the name of her book. They start making posts in Portuguese, German, because she was in Germany at one point, in English, asking people to help find Desiree.
They didn't see all the videos?
Eventually they do, but even then, they feel like Kat is holding her hostage. So it goes from she's just missing to actually we know where she is. I mean, not her geographical location, but we know who she's with, but we need help. It's actually tricky, you know? They don't know exactly how to go about it. Desiree's family know that Desiree was doing consultations with Kat, but last they knew, she was in Germany. And then eventually, she moves to Texas because Kat tells her life is falling apart and she needs Desiree to come help her. Desiree was only supposed to be in Texas for a month for her tourist visa. Ends up staying for much longer than that, essentially being held captive. As for Letitia, her parents come out and state that she went to Brazil on an au pair program. She's gonna live with the host family, take care of their child, do other things, and really get integrated into American culture. She leaves that au pair host family to go live with Kat. And she just goes off the grid. The only time they see her is allegedly holding a glass of ayahuasca, doing videos talking about alien baths, where Cat Torres is throwing in little sparkles and sprinkles and just microplastics into the bathtub. It seems like they're drinking ayahuasca because she seems very out of it. In other videos, Letitia is seen never smiling, brushing Kat's hair. She seems drunk. She's not behaving normally. And both families are starting to freak out. And because I think it's an interesting situation of they're missing, but they're also caught on this big influencer's videos. It goes viral.
Yeah.
Cat starts posting unhinged things at this point, which does not help her case. She says, just so you know, I've already started talking to all of y'all's brains. In a few years, some of my faithful followers will be living in the US with me, with a green card and everything. How do I know? Because I'm gonna do it for you. Just like I did it for Letitia and Desiree, they showed me loyalty and they deserve their place. Take a good look at Letitia's life. With American documents and all, I have the power to get everything I want, but you guys don't want to believe it yet. Just wait. Wait till my son is the president of the USA and rules the whole world, then you will understand. I just haven't become the president of Brazil yet because I didn't want to. The human slaves of the population will be very nice to me. They will want me to save Brazil. If I convince myself to do that, then yes, you are talking to the future president of Brazil. They still don't believe it. Start investigating my life and you will know who I am and what I am involved with to this day. This is her response to everyone saying, hey, are you holding these two women captive? She starts posting more weird stories, writing, Dears, my plan is to take several of my faithful followers and bring them here to live with me, to be the owners of the world with me, on the throne, just like I did with Letitia, just like I did with Zach, my husband, just like I did with everybody else. She goes on to allege that Letitia's parents were abusive, which everybody who knows the family denies these claims. She goes on to claim that Letitia and Desiree are running away from their toxic family and friends who are jealous of them. She says, I am God, and they are ants compared to me. And I have real pity for these poor people. And believe me, I tried not to post on here, but it's getting out of control. It keeps growing. You did not make her life, Letitia's mom. I swear to you, by God, I will finish yours first. And you don't deserve this attention, and you don't deserve anything, and there won't even be anything. Letitia will never speak to you again and be forced to tolerate your abuses. She even forces Letitia and Desiree to make videos, but it's very clear that they don't mean anything they say. It looks like they're being held hostage to say these things. There was another famous model by the name of Yasmin who gets involved, and she just comments on one of Kat's posts like, where is Letitia? Cat goes off on her. She claims now that Yasmin actually human trafficked Letitia and Cat saved Letitia. These are big, crazy allegations. Just absolutely insane. And eventually, they all go on the run. They leave Texas because they've already had one wellness check by the police, and it seems to be escalating further. The more that they're accusing other people of human trafficking, naturally, the case is going to get bigger, especially if they're accusing other high-profile people. So more people are catching on. Interpol is called. The US FBI is called. Everybody's getting called. They leave their house in Texas. They leave some food for the pets, and they just walk away. They walk away. They start driving all the way to Maine, to Connecticut. They're going all over the place. And while they're on the run, Desiree and Letitia had profiles on escort websites. Those hit mainstream media. And Desiree and Letitia feel like their lives are falling apart because Kat told them no one would know about this.
Is it the beginning of the episodes?
Yeah.
So she was on a yacht.
And she leaves and they pack up their things and they go on the run. Because all of this is happening while she's engaged in work.
I see.
So they pack up all their things, they go on the run, and while they're out there going from state to state, Kat looks at Desiree and tells her, okay, now we need to go to a shop and buy sunglasses and wigs so you can still engage in work. The three girls are eventually arrested, brought in for questioning. It's very clear to investigators that Letitia and Desiree are victims. The speculations circulating online that they're being human trafficked are likely true from the investigator's standpoint. Just based off the way the girls are acting, it's very clear they were victimized. They're distrustful of the authority. They feel like the investigators are going to arrest them and penalize them so deeply for prostitution charges instead of being honest about what Kat is doing. It actually takes Desiree 49 days in prison to realize that she's been human trafficked. And it was because she was walking through the cells being escorted back to her cell, and she saw this poster on the side of the prison wall that said, human trafficking, what are the signs? It's like one of those posters you see.
Wow.
And for some reason, it just clicked. She's like, oh my God, I didn't know I was being human trafficked because I thought I was still going there. It's not like she had me chained up. I was confused. I thought she had my best interests. I thought I was doing this for us.
Wow.
Eventually, all three get deported. Cat Torres was in the US on an O1 visa, which means you possess extraordinary talent. She was a beauty pageant queen, which allegedly she bought the title. She gets to immigrate to the US because of that. And then for Desiree and Letitia, they were on tourist visas or an au pair visa, and then they overstayed their visit. So all three of them get deported, and Cat is going to be tried in Brazil. For the girls, none of their lives have been normal. Letitia has been very private. Desiree says for months she suffered from panic attacks, migraines, insomnia, nightmares. It's still bad, but writing the book helped consolidate a lot of her feelings. And while all her other victims are trying to rebuild her lives, Cat says she's innocent. In a recent BBC interview, she states, "When I was seeing the people testifying, they were saying so many lies, so many lies. People are saying that I am a problem outside, that I can take the minds of the people and change them. I am 1.5 years in jail, with real people that committed real crimes. We're talking about people that killed 10 people, 16 people. When I was seeing the people testifying, just lies." I almost started laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. I believe maybe I'm here for more than 20 days, 10 days, because there's no proof. So there isn't a crime. There's no way. Then why would the judge be keeping you in prison if you don't deserve to be here? Because the people are saying that I am the problem outside. I take the minds of the people. People are saying I'm a fake guru. But at the same time, they're saying that I'm so real, I'm so dangerous, that I can take his mind or whoever's mind and change his mind. You know, I have a voice that spoke with me, and my whole life I would tell people, oh, so the voice is saying this to you, saying this to you, saying that to you, and the voice will be saying this, and people will just bend down to me and be like, oh my God, give me some advice, please. Like this very rich, very powerful people. You choose to believe whatever you choose to believe. I can tell you I'm Jesus, and you can see Jesus or you can see the devil. That's it. And then she just keeps rambling. So there are people who are born with no talents, and then there are people born with all talents. I think that is me. Okay, nobody asked. I used to sing in California, so people want me to sing. I have so many people talking to me. What should I do? Where should I go? Fame will catch me wherever I am. And what I want and need is justice. I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve to be here, not even one day in my life. Cat even writes a letter to the public, and it reads, I think a lot about those who are already weak and become even worse seeing their idol, me, being imprisoned, especially so unjustly. Yeah. So she just rambles on and on. She has ultimately been sentenced to 8 years for human trafficking, international human trafficking and slavery charges in Brazil, which, I mean, 8 years is too little. Mm-hmm. There are questions of whether or not Zach was involved and should be charged as well, because he is a U.S. citizen. So, yeah. I mean, okay, technically, it was like a jurisdiction thing. A lot of her victims were Brazilian citizens, and Cat was Brazilian, so she was sent to Brazil. But he's been off the radar. There's actually a Charlie Project missing persons report on Zach. It's unclear if he's actually missing or if that's just to make it seem like he's missing and he's laying low. The last people heard of him publicly, he was trying to set up a GoFundMe so that he could visit Cat in Brazil in prison. So, wow. He could be in Brazil for all we know. I don't know. A lot of people just think this is one of the crazier cases. I think that when I was watching even the BBC documentary, I didn't know, I mean, I knew how bad it was considering what she was convicted of. But reading Desiree's book that our Portuguese-speaking translators were able to translate for me, the way she did it is a lot more insidious than people believe. It just seems... The meticulous thought that went into all of it, the way that I was emotionally exhausted reading what Cat was saying to Desiree. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine witnessing and experiencing it. It makes sense. But that is the case of Cat Torres. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe.